All right. Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday. How are you? We're going to talk today about different ways that you can leverage your subconscious, right? Because it doesn't do any good to talk about how the subconscious forms associations and misassociations and incorrect perceptions if we don't talk about what we can do to shift those perspectives, to leverage that subconscious so that it's working for you. Now, if you're not in the Facebook group and you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Penny Chason. I'm a board certified hypnotist. I'm a retired healthcare professional of 25 years, and I moved into this space of helping entrepreneurs with mindset and personal growth so that you can have that fulfilling life, because that's why we all go into business, so that we can have financial freedom, time freedom, and create a life by design that we want. And speaking of design, if you haven't already, go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to Design Your Destiny. I put out episodes every week with a blend of just different things, everything from mindset to spirituality to business, and different ways of thinking, things that come up for us all the time. So let's take a look at the subconscious. So I've talked to you about how the subconscious can make these incorrect associations, these associations that don't help us. If you missed that, it's in the Facebook group from last week. It's still available on YouTube under the lives. It's still available on LinkedIn. When we want to shift, embody, quantum leap, change our identity, whatever these things are that we want, you can use whatever word you want to describe it. It all begins with our thinking, right? Our thinking. The first thing that we get to do is to become aware of what it is that we're thinking, aware of how we're feeling, aware of the things that happen around us that cause us to experience certain emotions or feelings, or maybe even trigger us into just like a full-on nervous system response. What are those things that are happening? So I often talk to people about the things that we say to ourselves, because when we talk to ourselves, we are generating follow-on thoughts, right? So if I were to say to myself, you know what, I just hate my business today, I want to throw in the towel, I'm done. Well, how is that going to make me feel? That's going to trigger thoughts of being a failure, not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being able to make it happen. Those things go to self-esteem and to confidence, and it begins to erupt emotion. So where we want to take that is to look at, you know what, I have created this business, right? I have believed in myself. I have taken a chance on myself. I am here to help people and to create that forward momentum in thinking. I was just having the conversation. The person was really, we've all been there. Okay, we've all been there. Having a business requires that, and all businesses look different, right? Some businesses require less of our time and attention and effort than other businesses. There's always a startup phase. Then we go through those growth spurts where we're having to bring on team, and it's taking more of us to make sure our team is trained and that things are being followed through on. Like, there's always these growing pains before we're on the other side of it, and we gain back a little more time freedom, a little more financial freedom. That's just the nature of being in business. But this person that I was having a conversation with was so frustrated and aggravated with business, like all the effort, and when is it going to happen? This person had their biggest year last year. Their revenue went up, even in the face of inflation and everything that has been going on. They actually did better last year. This is someone who has a brick and mortar business, a face-to-face business. They survived COVID. And I was like, whoa, wait, we have to stop just a minute here. And we really stop to reflect on everything they have accomplished. Because when we're always focused on the next goal, and a lot of you who are following me have saying that you identify with this, you identify that you're always chasing the next goal. That can come from a lot of things. That's a different live altogether, but we have to stop and we have to take stock of what we've created. We have to celebrate the outcome of our efforts. If it is that first client or it's your millionth dollar in sales, even if we haven't achieved our ultimate goal, we have to stop and appreciate. And this is where this self-talk comes in. Wherever you are in your process, to look at how you are talking to yourself. If you have to say to yourself, yes, but I haven't hit $10 million, this is what I want you to say. I haven't hit $10 million yet, but I am consistently taking action and I know that my success is inevitable. We have to put that end on it. We have to shift that. So when you're leveraging your subconscious, the way that you speak to yourself is key. It doesn't matter if you're using affirmations, shifting worrying to positive thoughts, right? A lot of us are problem solvers, and it may be our job to anticipate issues or problems. So what has to happen is we have to be sure that we don't bring that problem solving, that problem anticipation thinking into our everyday thinking. Because if you're always asking, well, what if this bad thing happens? Well, what if that bad thing happens? Well, how do I avert this? I need to have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? If we're always looking for the problems, then we're training our brain to look for problems. So you want to train your brain to look for opportunity and to train your brain to know that you can trust yourself to find the solution. You want to train your brain to know that you trust yourself, that if a challenging situation comes up, that you can maintain your peace, you can maintain your focus, and you can create a solution to whatever comes up. This isn't about burying your head in the sand. It's not about bypassing what needs to happen. It's about simply having a healthier and better way to talk to ourselves. So in addition to that self-talk, if you're going to do affirmations, you can leverage your subconscious through affirmations, but it's about more than just saying those words to yourself. Understanding that your subconscious mind works in metaphors, it works in images, okay, and it works in emotion. So you want to tap into those things, metaphors, images, and emotion, to activate your subconscious toward what you want. In last week's call, the same way that I talked about how we can have a misperception, where we can experience an emotion in the moment. It's a negative emotion, and not that emotions are negative, but that's for another time. But we can experience emotion that causes us to feel bad. And that emotion that causes us to feel bad has now taken this really minor thing, and in our brain, it becomes something that we want to avoid, right? So we might avoid going on video because we've had a bad experience where when all eyes were on us, we experienced something that made us feel really bad. So it causes us to procrastinate or not be visible or those kinds of things. In the same token, we use emotion to program to the positive. So tap into your positive, good emotions. And this doesn't mean that you have to ride high all the time. We always want to be in an elevated vibration, but this doesn't mean like on the rafters excitement, just like a sense of peace and joy and happiness, and knowing that all is well, that sense of safety and security. Journaling can help you tap into the subconscious. If you free journal and you just allow whatever needs to come up and come out to come up and come out, you can do that, and then wrap your journaling up with what it is that you desire in life. Use those affirmations. Write yourself a story of who you are and what you're accomplishing. Again, get into the feelings of it. It's one thing, if things are coming up that don't feel good when we're journaling, what we want to do is when you're journaling, rather than just like sitting in that emotion and not feeling good about it, what you want to do is you want to take that and ask yourself, okay, what is it about this that I need to take care of so I can let it go, right? What is it about this? What can I do to shift this? What do I need? What does, on an emotional level, like what need do I need to address to let this go, to let it fall away? What is it about this specific situation that's causing this to come up for me? Avoid asking the question why. Asking the question why, even if it's not our intent, asking the question why can keep us stuck in the past, and asking the question why can activate victim-like thinking. Now, without even being aware of it, victim-like thinking can actually become a habit, and that is something that you do not want. Before I went into the personal development space, the mindset space with hypnosis to help people rapidly shift their identities to get what they want. Before I did that, I worked with clients who had chronic pain. And for someone who is in victim mentality, their depression and their anxiety scores are much higher because there's literally this belief that there is a loss of control, that they are at the mercy of something else and they can only operate within the context of something else. Always asking why. We can have good intentions around it, but if we are not careful, we can create a habit of asking those questions in a way that begin to create a feeling of helplessness, a sense of helplessness. Asking why is no good. So I want you to leave that at the door. Ask, what can I do to change the situation? What needs to happen to satisfy this feeling, right? What about, whatever it was that you did or heard or experienced, what triggered this? And it's okay to say, I really can't put my finger on it, because sometimes we know and sometimes we don't, consciously, but subconsciously we always know. That's the key here, is that subconsciously we always know. And when we ask the right questions, when we're journaling, sometimes we will get that epiphany, we will have that aha, we will have that insight. And it is through that insight that we're then able to shift beliefs. Okay. But when you have that insight, you want to shift that belief immediately. Okay. You don't want to wait till later. When you have that insight, you want to shift that belief immediately, because when your brain is going, oh, dang, I've never thought about it like that, then your neural pathways are more malleable. That neuroplasticity is activated. We can let old beliefs fall away and a new one can go right in its place. So here's what I want you to do. I have a technique around creating those life-changing belief shifts when you have that insight or aha. I know that some of you have already taken advantage of it here in the Facebook group, and those of you who follow me on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you want access to that audio, it's just a 6-minute audio that if you incorporate it into your journaling practice, if you incorporate it into your life and you use it, it will change things for you. So yeah, if you want that comment belief below this video in the Facebook group, and I will be sure that you get access to that audio. Again, comment the word belief. Some of you already have it. Some of you have messaged me, and it has become a life-changing practice for you. So, all right. So we went through self-talk. We went through affirmations. We went through journaling, visualization, right? Self-hypnosis, visualization, they're the same thing. Visualize, daydream. That's another way to tap the subconscious. Albert Einstein talked about using creative daydreaming. Again, daydreaming, tap into emotions. Now, I want you to consider that when you worry, I think I may have mentioned this last week, when you worry, you are engaging in a negative form of self-hypnosis. You were negatively programming your mind when you worry because you were in emotion and you were future surfing. So what you want to do is you want to flip that on its head. There's nothing wrong with daydreaming so long as we don't spend our life daydreaming, right? For example, we want to remodel our kitchen, and it's not coming to me as quickly as I would like it to, but it is going to happen. So what I do is when I'm in my house, rather than, feeling frustrated of having this tiny 50-year-old kitchen, I literally, when I'm standing in my kitchen at my sink, in my mind, as I'm washing dishes, I literally see my nice new farmhouse sink and the dishwasher right next to it. Yes, that's right. I don't have a dishwasher. There's no room in the kitchen. It's just too damn tiny. But I see myself standing in that kitchen as if it's already there. And I don't know if everybody has that ability that you can see something, but you can literally see something else while you're doing it. That's what I do. So I see myself in my brand new kitchen as if it already happened. So you want to see yourself feeling, thinking, being the person that you desire to be, being the person that has what you already wanted to create, being that person who has this business that allows you to have the time, the space, the freedom, that you're actually fulfilled in what you're doing. Because I love going back to this saying, back when I was a nurse, there was a time when I loved nursing. There was a time when I loved anesthesia. I literally would go on missions and give anesthesia and not get paid. I would pay out of my own pocket to go and do these missions. And it's because I loved what I did that much. And I used to say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, yes, you're still giving service, you're still exchanging, but it doesn't feel like work. But when we run businesses, there is the part that we love. There is the part where we share, we're changing lives, whether you're doing it through a product, a service, an experience, it doesn't matter. But you're doing this thing that you love so much. But then there's also this part that it may not be our favorite part to do. We may not actually like it, but it's a part of running a business. And until we get to the point where if you choose to grow this big, that you can have a team, that you can hire someone to do those aspects for you, we have to show up and do them if we want to be successful, if we want to put what we're doing out into the world. And that is the context in which we look at those things. It's like, I get to do this thing so that I can share my gifts with the world, so that I can help other people shift and change their lives, so I can help other people know what it is to stand up every day and to know without a shadow of a doubt, I love myself. I trust myself, right? That's what life is about. Knowing from the inside out that you are solid, that you can handle whatever comes your way. If you may not know how to handle it, you know how to figure out how to handle it or how to connect with the people who do, right? There are lessons in everything. There is in every single situation that happens in our life, even in something that is not, it's not something that we would wish on anyone else in the world. There's always something to be grateful for. I'm going to wrap this up here. And it was a lesson that was shared with me by a spiritual mentor that I trust very much. And it really resonated with me. It rang so deeply true for me. If you're someone who is a coach, if you're a hypnotist, a healer, it was said to me that you cannot heal in someone else that which you have not healed within yourself. And it's pretty darn accurate. It's pretty darn accurate because I look back on the experiences that I've had, and it gives me a deeper perspective. Even though not from a projection point of view, I'm going to go into teacher mode for a minute. You know, I used to train hypnotists. I'm going to go into teacher mode for a minute, not to project, right? So my experience, while things that are most personal are often most general, not to project my experience, but I have the experience of knowing what it is to come to the other side of certain situations. So I can say unequivocally, without a doubt, that by doing hypnosis, you can release and let go of things that will allow you to live a life free of anxiety or free of depression. It will allow you to have a deeper perspective on the world and to step back and have compassion and to not be so darn judgmental, right? You can step back and watch. And being able to bring that air of lack of judgment into the work that I do is huge. But I can do that because I've been in the situation where I've had to face my own demons, and I had to open myself up and be vulnerable to someone to help me heal through that. And I had to do it whether or not I felt that person was going to judge me. Now, fortunately, I had the privilege of working with someone I knew would not judge me, that they would be accepting of where I am because, you know, we are not our past. We are not our pain. We are in the present. So, man, I got way off track here. I get into my self-love and my self-trust, and I just really, I can't help but go off the rails around those things, right? But if you're someone who helps others heal, you know, and you've done this work yourself, you have a much greater perspective. And we can have gratitude for those past experiences because those past experiences prepared us to be able to serve in the way that we do. Because if I had never experienced what I had experienced, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing in the way that I'm doing it right now. I would probably still be a generalist hypnotist, seeing people locally, and I wouldn't be online. I wouldn't be impacting people around the world the way that I am. And when I say the way that I am, I mean my message, right? In the things that I share and the perspective that I have. So anyway, if you want to explore usually using that journaling technique, comment belief, I will get that 6-minute audio to you. I'm going to trust that you're going to incorporate it into your journaling practice, or if you're like me and some of the other people who commented, if you're somebody who gets epiphanies and ahas in the shower, you can mentally apply this. It doesn't just apply to journaling, so that you can optimize and leverage your subconscious. And again, do that through emotions, do that through metaphors, and do that through imagery. It's the languages of your subconscious mind. And if for any reason you want to reach out and explore if what you're dealing with is something that could be helped with hypnosis or subconscious coaching, then simply DM me and I will give you a link, and we can just connect for 15 minutes and see if what you're dealing with is even a subconscious issue. And then you can decide where you want to go from there. So anyway, much love. See you next week. Sorry for the rambles, but hey, I get to talking about self-love and self-trust, and we all deserve that. We all have it in us, even if we're a little disconnected from it, you can reconnect with that. And the first step is to just simply start leveraging your subconscious. It is your greatest asset when you learn